So we're here on Bangla Road in Patong on the island of Phuket, an epicenter of prostitution in Thailand. Now, we love Thailand, Amy and I. The people are super friendly, the food's great, it's beautiful, it's got rich culture. So, don't let this episode change your opinion of the place too much. But you see, viewers, every time me and Amy come here, we see these young girls milling around with old men. And so today, I wanted to do a little bit of an investigatory piece for you. Now, I obviously can't show myself soliciting a prostitute on YouTube or Instagram, and to be honest, I wouldn't have the requisite skills necessary to solicit a prostitute, or any woman for that matter. I met Amy when I was 22 and she was 18, so I don't exactly have game anymore.
I don't know if you ever did.
Thanks, Amy. That's thrown me a little bit. But yeah, anyway, I don't even know how it would go. Like, when I go up to her and be like, "Excuse me, ma'am, I would like to partake in sexual activities for the exchange of goods." Is that how one does it?
I have no idea.
Now, jokes aside, what I can do is show you how pervasive sex tourism is here. The 50-year-old sleazy old man is as ubiquitous as the Sway Magma herself. Let's find the dirty bastards. So the legality of prostitution in Thailand is a little complex. It has some grey areas. So I'm going to say, in my opinion, and apparently on this episode a lot, so I don't get bloody sued. But when I was doing the research, there was a ton of legal jargon, which frankly I don't have the intellectual capacity to understand. I'm not a lawyer. But I'll read to you now. Sorry if it's a bit loud. Under the Suppression of Prostitution Act 1996, persons who solicit sex in an open or shameless manner, which is obviously a phrase that's not clearly defined, or persons who cause a nuisance to the public are subject to a fine. So it's sort of like both illegal and legal, in my understanding, apparently. So I heard. It's illegal to run a brothel, but all these establishments that you can see around me, they just operate as massage parlors, or they operate as bars. So they operate as legal businesses essentially. Now, according to a report by the United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute, it's quite a mouthful, 40% of Thai prostitutes are children, which is absolutely shocking. And Thailand is a source, transit and destination country for sex trafficking. A lot of Thai women will actually be lured to Japan, where they're sold to gang-owned brothels. So it's really shocking, and it kind of explains why Amy and I are seeing a lot of these older men going around with young women. A lot of these women are clearly children. Now, Thailand is trying to get on top of this through a series of laws and cooperation with international organizations. But how can you help? Come for the pina coladas. Don't get involved in this industry. It's corrupted at a base level. If you want to sleep with someone, sleep with one of the tourists. They're bloody everywhere. So yeah. Sorry?
Consensually.
Oh.
Just
consensually.
When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. When my body only moves for the beat, you've been waiting.
Now, how Thailand got to this point with literally hundreds of thousands of prostitutes is actually really interesting, and actually kind of America's fault, in my opinion. Apparently, so I heard from a bloke in a pub one time. So basically, during the Vietnam War, Thailand offered rest and recreation to servicemen, military servicemen based in this region. In 1957, there were 20,000 prostitutes. By 7 years later, there were 400,000. And it's kind of not surprising if you think about it. You get a load of shell-shocked military servicemen here specifically for rest and recreation. I mean, what the hell do you think is going to happen? And that had a knock-on effect to this day. Essentially what happened was, as the Vietnam War ended, it simultaneously simultaneously Thailand emerged as a holiday destination, and that kind of sustained and grew an already booming sex tourism industry. Does that make sense? So just as the Vietnam War ends, Thailand becomes a holiday destination, and that reputation of sex tourism just grew and grew. In my opinion, so I heard in the pub one time, please don't sue me. Now this is the bit where I'm going to get absolutely nailed in the comments section. It's kind of accepted by the Thai. According to the Encyclopedia of Sexuality Thailand, a load of boffins with PhDs basically, the Thai women believe that prostitution actually reduces the incidence of rape. And also, try not to get run over, and also that it's kind of always going to be part of society. And that's actually really interesting because Thailand's a really conservative country. For example, sex toys are actually illegal here.
And to feel the desire to make you my own.
So in terms of legalizing it, there are basically arguments for and against. Like healthcare access is a big one. They'd get better healthcare access. Also, there'd be more healthcare checkups. There'd be better sex education, so there'd be less STIs. And also, bringing it into the formal economy would mean that it would be monitored more, and that would reduce or could reduce sex trafficking. And also, there's an argument that the women would work in safer environments, and they might actually be able to keep more of their earnings as well. Sorry, I've had to put the umbrella up because it's monsoon season and it just started raining. But yeah, just to finish that, the flip side of legalizing it is that many people are worried that that could legitimize exploitation, especially if issues like poverty, a lack of education or gender inequality aren't addressed. And that many women may still feel coerced into the industry because ultimately they need money. And also it increases the commodification of women's bodies. And like, you've got to think, when you see someone like the women behind me, they're sat in front of a mirror putting their lipstick on for a night ahead of prostitution, and you've got to ask yourself what's going to do their head. Is it things like, this is the sum of my worth, this is my value? Because if that's the case, it's incredibly sad.
With nothing to hold on to, racing for the end, praying for the wind to slow down the feeling and let me somewhere new.
So yeah, it really grinds my gears when I see these old men with young Thai prostitutes, many of which are clearly children. And they come from countries like Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, northeastern Thailand, and the reason for that is that they're desperate. They need money. They don't have the hots for granddad. These old men are so twisted by their own loneliness that they predate on young women. And do they think that these girls are into it, or do they just not care? Because it's definitely one of the two, and it's disgusting. What happened to decency and integrity? A young man may not know better, but it's almost exclusively men over 50. It's so weird. And everyone in the comments is going to say, God, this guy is so naive. But I ask, why does it have to be this way? Is loneliness really an excuse for persecution? And the persecution of children, no less. If the driving force of these old men's lives is no longer, the accumulation of wealth, then why not make it about the betterment of others? I'm getting wet now. As always though, guys, we make this content to raise awareness. We hope that people will make different decisions. These girls are essentially victims of their own circumstances, so we have to find ways to finance them, other ways to finance them, other ways to help them. Don't be part of the problem, especially if you're an old bloke. And Grant's watching you. I wonder if Amy's holding the umbrella over the GoPro. I wonder if every time I do these investigatory pieces, if I need a catchphrase clean it up. Anyway, I've riled myself all up now with that whole thing. Bloody old blokes. I'm gonna go get a beer now and have a calm down. Come on, Amy. Come on, Amy. Let's go solicit a prostitute. And like the other thing about Bangla Road, God, it's really coming down now
we
this
need
road.
to get undercover.
The other thing about Bangla Road is that there's a lot of nice bars here, sports bars, snooker, live music. It's not all prostitutes, but you know, it's a big thing. I'm sweating buckets. I really wore the wrong shirt. I'm here outside Patong Beach. Now, according to a report by the United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice. Now, according to a report by the United Nations Crime and Justice. Oh, for fuck's sake.